Okay guys, so about a week ago I did a video on a 2017 Denali where the windshield wipers wouldn't work, and it ended up being the underhood fuse box. So if you're not real familiar with these underhood fuse boxes that come on a lot of the GM vehicles, it's a fuse box, it's a relay center, and as you can see you've got some external relays here, some fuses. Well, you've also got some built-in relays, and specifically I've got a list here of 10 relays that's built into this box. Now, this is a copy out of Pro Demand. So let me read what it says here. Note, relays listed below are non-serviceable printed circuit board relays and are internal to the block. And the relays that you have in here specifically that are internal to this, that you cannot pull out and go spend $10 and plug a new one in, are the horn relay, windshield washer pump relay, windshield wiper relay, windshield wiper speed control relay. Now you got two different windshield wiper relays. You got one that just turns the wipers on, and then the other one, when it actuates, it puts it in high speed. So that's what these two wiper relays are. You got your fog lamp relay, your headlamp high beam relay, stop lamp relay or brake lights, and then you got trailer backup lamp and trailer right and left turn signal and stop lights. So if you're having trailer brake issues, take a look at this box. That could be the problem. If you're having brake light issues, if you're having any kind of issues that have anything to do with these 10 relays, and you've troubleshot everything else around this box, there's a good chance that this box is the problem. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to see if we can take this apart and see what these internal relays look like, and see if it's possible to source a relay and solder a new relay onto the board so that we can get this working again. This is about $350, $400 depending on make and model. Some of them go all the way up to about $600. The one for this truck was $350. You can buy these used. The problem with that is you might have a particular circuit that's in op on a used one that might fix your original problem, but now you've got a problem with something else, or a month or two down the road your used one ends up having a problem that's internal. Anyway, let me get the camera mounted up. We're going to take this apart and we're going to see what's inside and if it's possible to replace the internal relays that's inside this box. Alright, let's see what we can do here. I think the first thing I'm going to need to do is pop that off. Now, it looks like all you've got is some little tabs right here. And whenever you pry these apart, it looks like that this piece will separate from the outer piece. So, I don't know what the easiest part to start with here, but I'm just going to start here on the corner. Okay, I think I've got that kind of lifted up out of there. Okay, there we go. Once you get one corner popped up out of there, then going around it should be relatively easy. As I'm prying up on these, each one are popping up. Let me kind of, hopefully you can kind of see here, like that. So there's that piece. So obviously you can see a circuit board there. Probably going to need to pluck all these out of there so that it'll free it from this upper housing. So the best thing to do is take a picture of this and then start plucking all the relays and fuses out. So let me do that. I'm not going to film that. So I'm just going to reach in here and start plucking fuses out. I'm not going to film this whole thing. Just going to kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing. I'm going to pluck these relays out of here. Anyway, let me get all these out of there, and I'll turn the camera back on. Alright, got all the fuses and relays out, got my pile right here. So the next question is, well, never mind, that answered that. It just popped right out of there. And there's what you got. So the next question is figuring out which relay is which. Now obviously you can see that every one of these relays are the same. They do have a part number. Other than this conformal coating, it looks like we'll be able to easily scratch off, so we can unsolder the bad relay and solder in a new one. It looks like it's going to be pretty straightforward. So basically, I'm going to snap a picture of the part number of these relays, see if I can locate some online. Probably order me a little pack of them, and we're going to see if we can get one of these soldered, get a new one soldered in. First thing I'm going to have to do is get the diagram and figure out which pins go to which relays, so that I can figure out which one of these relays are is the wiper relay. But you can see it's a pretty, straightforward process. Not really a whole lot of tearing anything up to be able to get this out. So if you needed to save some money, you didn't want to spend $350 on a new relay fuse center, it looks like this is a very doable deal. So let me see if I can locate any of these relays. Alright guys, so I kind of found the all the pinouts and stuff, but the first thing I want to do is look at this diagram and show you here. So here's the windshield wiper relay. This is the relay we're trying to find on the circuit board, and there are two different part numbers. Both the part numbers are similar. One of them represents a 5-pin relay. The other one is a 4-pin. So, and I did locate the proper relays on Amazon. I've already ordered 2 of them. So we're going to be able to, I'm pretty confident we're going to be able to replace this relay and have this relay/fuse center back to 100% operation. And it'll be a nice standby. I'm going to give it back to the owner, and that way he can just hang on to it, and if he ever needs one, he can plug it in and he's good to go. But here we go. We're going to the 2 pins that I'm going to hit here on connector X2. I'm going to go to F2, and that's going to be the ground to this coil inside this relay. And then I'm going to go on X3 and go to pin L4, and that's going to be the control. That's the one that normally would be coming from the computer. That's going to be the power. And a good relay, you'd hear a nice solid click. But if you remember when it was in the truck, it was really, really faint. I could barely hear it, so I'm assuming that's what we're going to get here. And I may not be able to feel it clicking to be able to determine which relay it is, but I've got a solution to that, and I'll show you what that is here in just a minute. But anyway, let's find X2, and let me show you how these connectors are laid out. So I've got the layout right here. If you look, we've got X1, X2, X3, X3, X4, X5. So again, I'll give you a picture of that right there. This is for a 2017 Chevy Silverado. All these are going to be the same on all the GM vehicles. So now what we got to do is, depending on, all the pinouts are pretty much the same. If you look right here, we've got X3 right here, we've got X2 right here, but all the pinouts are the same. So if you look, for instance, you look at these two big ones, you got B1 and B2, you got B1 and B2. Now, yeah, you got A2 here in the center, A2 here in the center. So all the pinouts are going to be the same. So I'm just going to use one of these. You just need to know which connector is which. So whenever the diagram's telling me to go to X2, I'm going to be going to this connector. X3 is going to be this connector. And if you look real close, I actually just noticed this. It actually, each one of these cavities are very faintly labeled. I have no idea if you're going to be able to see that. I don't know if that's going to be washed out or not, but anyway, nonetheless, as long as you got a diagram, you'll be able to figure it out. So let's go to X2 first, pin F2, Frank 2. And I've got my 12-volt power supply here. So that's going to be our ground, X2, F2. So X2 is this connector. Did I say F2? F2 is going to be, this is row F. This is, I believe this one here is F1, F2, and then F3 would be right here, but there's no pin in F3. So F2 is our ground. So right there's our ground. So now we're going to go to X3, pin L4. So X3 is this connector cavity, and we need L4. L4, I'll show you the L1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the center pin on the 1, 2, 3, third row, if you count the two big pins here. So here's our two big pins. There's the second row, third row. And if you look, if you get confused, you can look right here and you can see that you've got skinny pins right here. Then you got this row, or we'll just call them medium sized pins, because you got large pins here and here. Large pins would go in here. This little cavity row right here would be medium pins, and then you got the small pins. So if you get confused, remember you've got a row right here. There's your medium pins, and then you've got your small pins. So we're L4. So we're going to go. We're going to count from this end. One. Nope, we're going to count from this end. L1, 2, 3, and 4 right here. Okay, I can barely hear that relay. So let me see if I can pick this up. Again, I have no idea which relay that is. I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to see if you can hear it. Very faint. I'm not going to be able to feel that, I don't think. Let me put this over on its side. I'm just going to put my hand over these. No. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go with my second idea. I'm gonna let that sit there for just a few minutes, and I'm gonna hit this with my thermal imager, and I'm gonna see which one of these relays are showing to be hotter than the others. And that should be an easy way for me to figure out which relay is which. So let me get the thermal camera booting up here. Wonder if I can. All right. So hopefully you're seeing that right there. All these other relays, they don't even show up. But you got that relay right there, which is this one. And I can feel a temperature difference between these two. So this is our relay right here. Disconnect those wires. Get this thing up out of here again. So it looks like it is going to be that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the next step, I'm going to get a little scraper. I'm going to scrape this conforming coating off so I can get to these solder points, and I'll get the soldering iron ready to go. I'm going to try to just use this scraper and scrape this stuff off right here. And really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this one right here is. And then I'll hit this with a little brush to kind of clean it up, but really these two are the only two that I'm going to have to, these three are already out in the open. Of course you want to be careful, you don't want to bend these pins. I kind of bent that one just a little bit. Alright, let's see what kind of luck we have. Alright, so I had to whip out my soldering station and my solder wick, and that seems to be doing a lot better. It's sucking that solder right up out of that joint. In fact, I think we should be real close to being able to get that out of there. There we go. Alright, so we got this out. You can see that is a, where are you at here? It's a 5-pin relay. And again, there's two different part numbers. This one, for the 5-pin, hopefully that's coming through. And then there's a part number for a 4-pin. I'll put both of them in the description, so you can order either one of them. Like I say, some of these are 5-pin, some are 4-pin. So now all we got to do, I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and then put it in here, and then we're going to get it soldered in, and then we'll test it. I'm just using a little isopropyl alcohol to kind of clean this flux. I got the flux out and my solder wick, and once I started using all that, I started having better luck than I was with the just the solder sucker. Alright. So now basically we're going to put the new one in. And the new one, where's my new one? I did find these on Amazon. I ordered 2 of them just to be on the safe side. And it looks like they're already pre-tinned. So I'm just going to slap this thing in here. You know what? Let me go ahead and tin the both sides. I'm going to tin both sides of this. Okay, that looks good. Alright, so there it is, just pushed in, not soldered yet. They have little standoffs. I don't know if you can see the little white. You can push it in only so far until it's buttered up, and then once it's buttered up, you're done. Where you at? There. Right there. A little flux. Take a look at that, see if that did it. Yes, it did. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but let me get it cleaned up. Probably good enough. Hopefully that's coming through without too much glare, but it looks to me, whenever I get a good eye on it, all those joints look pretty good. So what we need to do now is figure out the pin that energizes the relay, and then the output pins, and then I'll hit it with the meter, and we'll energize it, and we'll see if everything's working. So let me get set up and figure out which pins are which. Alright guys, this is going to be kind of tricky to show you, but I've got my power leads, except for the actual power coming from the power supply. I've got my ground hooked up to the ground side of the coil of the relay. I will power it with this one, which is on pin, what was it? L4, which is this one right here. And then I've got my meter hooked up to these leads. So whenever we energize that relay, what we should get is a nice short, or we should get continuity, and it should be shorted. So I'm going to hit I've got 14 volts dialed up on my power supply. I'm going to go ahead and hit the pin. For one, you can hear the nice solid click. We got 0.2 ohms. Let me get closer so you can hear the click. And here's that relay right here. That's the relay. So, and I'll show you here in a minute what I've done as far as these leads. Let me get this disconnected. So this right here, that little lead right there, or pin, is actually this 25 amp where the fuse plugs in, and it goes over to that set of contacts right there in the relay. Whenever I energize the relay, the contacts slam over, making contact there. Goes through this relaxed speed control relay down to K3, and then you've got F2 and L4, which is the ground and power for that relay. But anyway, it's back to working. Got us a new relay soldered in. So these are repairable. Before I put this back together, let me show you something that's going to upset you. Okay, so right here, you got 11 relays. And I've marked out, when this is installed, when this circuit board's back installed in the housing, you can see where those 11 relays are placed. And there's actually room on the upper side of this where the regular relays go that's accessible. All these relays would be able to be external right here, to where all they would have had to do is pick a relay that was pluggable, to where, you know, just had the longer terminals sticking out. So just like the other relays on this, you could just plug the relays in. But no, they had to build them inside this unit, so it's next to impossible to change them unless you have a little bit of soldering skill and the equipment to be able to do it. But as long as you do, the relay I think was like $7, which beats $350 for a new X50A relay slash fuse panel. Anyway, let me get this put back together, and then I'll give you one more quick all together shot, and then this video's done. Figure why I got you here. I just got this started. I've got the first corner clipped in, and other than making sure that all the pins look like they're coming in, I'm going to go ahead and finish clipping this in. It is kind of tough, but it's doable.
that's it. We're clipped all the way in. You can see all the pins coming through there. Now, it's just a matter of putting all the fuses and relays back on here. I'm going to wipe this off and clean the upper surface of this off, and I'm going to clip all the fuses and relays back in, which I'll have in this cup. And remember, I took a picture before I plucked all this stuff out of here. Alright fellas, she's all back together. Got all the relays, all the fuses in it. Ready to plug back in the truck. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I don't have the truck here because I put that new one in. But, I mean, pretty sure this should work. So I'm going to give it back to the guy and tell him he's got an extra in case he ever needs it. We're done. This was a this panel, by the way, is called an X50A, and I think it's called that same thing on any of the GM SUVs and pickup trucks. I may be wrong about that, but I've looked at quite a few of them, and they've all been called the X50A Fuse/Relay Center, which is under the hood. And this was out of a 2017 Denali Duramax pickup. Anyway, we're done. You guys take care. We'll see you.